And once again, we mentioned this, our last installment of This Week in the USHL for 2010. Along with the league, we're going to be taking a couple of weeks off before reconvening the first week of the new year.
Because everything we follow the USHL.
We do. They take 11 days off. We could take 11 days off. There you go. And it is that time of year, and we think that we've no other better way to really kind of wrap the 2010 portion of the schedule than to have Brian Werger, who is the in charge of communications for the league. Done an outstanding job in keeping us informed on the league and making this program possible. And Brian, wanted to have an opportunity for you to talk about a little bit about the state of the league now. You've got some very competitive races going on both sides, both conferences, as 2010 will be looking towards 2011. Should be a great second half.
Brian, are you with us?
Brian?
Yeah. Hey, sorry, guys.
Okay,
I got a little misconnection there a little bit. But, yeah, it's been a good first half of the season for sure. You know, the races have been really tight in both conferences, especially in the West. You know, there's, I think, 7 points separates number 2 through number 8. So, you know, you couldn't ask for anything more. Just a number of one-goal games, shootouts, overtime. So, you know, it's been great for the players, the coaches, and the fans alike. It's really an exciting time every time you drop the puck in the USHL.
And the USHL at this time of the year really has a very strong presence, really comes to the forefront in the communities around the league in terms of community service with the teams. And just have an opportunity, Brian, to talk a little bit about how civic-minded and participatory the league is with the players at this time of the year in terms of charitable causes and contributing back to the community, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's all part of the process. Teams are very, very active in their communities, you know, and it's not just, you know, guys like me are always looking for the story. I'm a PR guy, but, you know, they don't do it for the story. It's all part of the teaching these young players not only to be great players, but great men. You know, they're out in the community. Just the Muskegon Lumberjacks, they took some underprivileged kids and, you know, took them all shopping. So, you know, some underprivileged kids had a humor presents under the Christmas tree this year. We've got a number of teams, Lincoln Stars, Dubuque, and Cedar Rapids are doing teddy bear tosses where fans bring new stuffed animals when a goal scorer, they're thrown on the ice, and all those toys end up going to Toys for Tots. So it's, you know, it's a really special time of the year, and it really says a lot about the teams, what they're teaching these players, and getting involved with the community, and really giving something back to the communities that these players are playing in for 1, 2, and 3 years.
Yeah, Brian, just talking to Luke Strand and all the coaches we've talked to throughout the season, there's way more to this than just playing hockey. I mean, these kids are they're uprooted, a lot of them, from, you know, miles away from home, and, you know, it's not torture. They're in great billet families and they're in great communities, and the communities embrace these kids. But, you know, the kids they're taught, but they feel like they're gifted. They're getting an opportunity to play for an extra year or two before they go to college and enhance their futures. And I think it's, you know, it's great that the overwhelming thought process, whether it's spelled out or not, in each team or each locker room or each community, you know, from the general managers on down, it's kind of a feeling that, hey, it's a two-way street in life, and we're kind of gifted. We got to touch, you know, the spirit of the community and really get involved here and do something that we can.
Yeah, sorry, I had a hard time hearing you, but I think you guys were kind of touching a little bit on the billet families in our league, and, you know, they're really the unsung heroes in all of this. They do so much. We couldn't do it without them. And once again, that's all part of the process of we're, you know, developing great players and great people. You know, there was, I think you guys have mentioned a few times on the show, there was a really nice piece out of Indiana, how big of a role that those guys play. And I know Bob and Carolyn McCutcheon there are really vital to the billet program there. You know, it's not just Indiana; it's all across the USHL, and, you know, they're a big part of it. And without them, we wouldn't have the quality of players that we do. It's real comforting for these families. As you know, we're parents are sending their players all across the U.S. and all across the globe. Coming to these cities in the USHL, and it's when you're sending a 16, 17-year-old, you're letting them leave the home. You're like, whose hands is he going to be in? And that we make sure that we've got really quality people that are taking care of these young men and helping them further along in their careers.
Oh, absolutely. And that aspect of the USHL is very, very important element when you look at what these players have in their future. I mean, what better preparation to have an opportunity to live at home, to then be able to know how to behave, know how to be a member of the community when you live away at home in a college setting. Well, we might have lost Brian, unfortunately, but...
Yeah, Bernie, I think what you were saying is the word family is prevalent, even if it's...
No question.
If it's a host family or a billet family where they're living. And
absolutely.
The aspect of family is not lost on these kids.
Right. And we want to just wrap it up and mention... the article that Brian was referring to was in it can be found IndyStar.com about the Indianapolis, about the billet families for the Indiana Ice in Indianapolis community, and anybody that has access to our program that might be interested, particularly in a family or sending a player to the USHL, be very enlightening to get the commentary from the billet coordinator Bob McCutcheon for the USHL, and some actual testimony from some of the families that have been affiliated with the program long term. There are so many out there that make this league a success and send these guys along to college hockey in such great numbers. So, a pretty good way to wrap things up here for the 2010 on This Week in the USHL. It doesn't seem possible. It's flown by over the last couple of months.
Yeah, first semester's over for the USHL.
Indeed. They'll be going on break. As we mentioned, we'll be going on break. And when we resume with This Week in the USHL in January, we'll have the run of the second half of the season. Race is very tight, as Brian alluded to, and I'll be following the USHL on This Week in the USHL all the way through playoff action in the springtime. So for This Week in the USHL, Bernie Corbett for Paul McNamara saying good evening to everyone, and look for you in 2011.
And to everybody in the USHL, Merry Christmas.